All right. I'm going to be talking about this one and this one outside. These are worth showcasing in better light, so I'm not even going to touch upon this in the house. A couple of beautiful bows, beautiful bows. And you know what? I was asked a question by Matthew, Manitoulin Matt, about do I do all my design work freehand or do I use templates? I'm not only going to talk about these outside in better light. I'm going to show you my templates. I have accumulated a lot over the years. Now I'm going to show you what they're made out of, what they look like, how to go about it. But first, I'm going to mention a YouTube channel. Right there. I'm looking at the dude. He looks part vampire. The guy doesn't get out in the sunlight enough. But he's known as the Robin Hood of Wall Street. He is an independent person. Nobody's pulling his strings. He's known as the Robin Hood of Wall Street because of his capacity to understand the markets, the economies, the world economy, all this other stuff. Gregory Mannarino. The link will be right down there below in the description. Check it out. This one video. He puts these things out daily, maybe sometimes a couple times a day, because the stock market and interest rates and economy and the job markets and gross national product, all this stuff moves fast and it moves heavy. This guy knows what the heck he's talking about, so do check him out. I know that you watch a wide array of videos out there. This is a must-have. He is not in the propaganda machine, and that's as far as I'm going to say about that. I have varied interests, like we all do, and one of them is music. Now it so happens that I had this is sad. This is really sad, and it shows you need to know what you're doing with all these different things. A classical guitar, a nice, for all practical purposes, it's a beautiful, beautiful classical guitar that somebody gave me. And the neck is like, and where the fingerboard extension goes over the top, it's crushed. Because somebody didn't realize it was a classical guitar and they put heavy steel strings on it and it self-destructed. Luckily, the solid spruce top, I'm offhand, maybe mahogany sides and back, I don't know, I don't remember, but a beautiful aged vintage looking spruce top. It's only damaged on this side of the sound hole, so I might be able to take that spruce top and make another instrument out of it. I hate to say ukulele, but that, because I'm not a fan of the ukulele. Sorry, that's just the way it is. But that might be all I can get out of it. But I had this thing, the Mystery Machine. This is an old Appalachian, why am I blanking, dulcimer. It's an old one. This is solid wood. This is not laminated. Spruce, which is nice tone wood for the top, and walnut. Look at this. But it had some quirks. I know it's old because these were the garbage tuning keys that were on it, and it's so old. This Ivoroid, the plastic basically, is disintegrating. So I know that this is old. It might be from the 50s. Probably handcrafted, solid wood, basically good. But it had junk tuners on it. So I took that classical guitar and I took these off. There were 3, and I cut it and I filed it so it would fit that curve a little better. Plugged the holes. I had to plug the holes because these things had a different pattern and they were bigger. And I needed to have some support for these because they're kind of sticking out, free floating in space. So I plugged the holes, re-drilled it after I filed and changed it and all that good stuff, and applied them there. And then because I had the sand inside the peg head because of those plugs that I put in went, and it's hard to do that, I just wound up dyeing it black. And I think it looks pretty classic. Now it also had another quirk. It had nails, little nails in here. And this is single string, doubled string. It was too much pressure for that doubled string right here, and it bent that nail, which was much too small, so I re-drilled it. Put some heavier screws in there, so yeah. And I had to replace this one. I had to replace that saddle, made it out of bone, deer bone. So I'm waiting for my stringas to get here. Dulcimer strings, set of dulcimer strings. I could use banjo strings and the E strings from a mandolin because they're close. But I'm not going to wind up taking things out because they're the right gauge and put it here. So I'm going to be patient. You know what else I'm going to do on this doohickey? I might as well dress the frets and recrown them if I have to like do any filing on here. So that's a nice little instrument. If you are unfamiliar with the Appalachian dulcimer, after you watch Greg Manarino's video, watch some dulcimers. Get involved in music. You're in the bows, you need to do music too. Do music, whether or not it's a mandolin or a banjo. And I discovered that I probably should have bought an open back banjo and not a bluegrass banjo with the resonator, because currently I'm more fascinated by old time and traditional banjo music, the claw hammer style, than the scrug style picking. They'll probably change though, so whatever. Just gives me a reason to buy an open back banjo. You can never have too many instruments. But that is all. Why did I go? And you'll see this in full view. Why did I go with a simple 3 black diamond? The wood on this bow. This is textbook grain for a board bow. I mean, it's beautiful. And the difference in color between the winter growth and the spring growth. Oh, I didn't want to cover this up with rawhide. I didn't want to overcomplicate it with a complex paint job. I just went with 3 black diamonds. This is beautiful. Whoever gets this, use it. Go out. Use it as a bow. But you know what? This is majestic. This is beautiful. Beautiful grain, beautiful wood. I heat treated the belly on this. You can see the toasting marks on it. About 50 pounds at 28 inches of draw. Oh, the angels are singing because of this bow. Which leads me into another part. My wife and I like to watch creepy movies. The creepier the better. And if you study creepy things, you understand there are 2 schools of thoughts. I made this comment to my lovely wife last night. I go, it's funny that people on one hand think of angels as these benevolent, beautiful creatures. They're always flowing gowns and attractive women and stuff. But what is a real angel? They're monsters that hate people. The pretty little angelic angels that help you. And possibly the real ones that you don't want any part of. The dichotomy of life. That's all. Greg Manarino. He's your friend. You can trust him.